Have you ever heard somebody say something like, if you work really hard and if you stay diligent and committed to a process, then you'll get the results that you want? And you probably have heard some form of what I just said there, and it's true. It really is. And one of the reasons that this idea is true, that if you work hard, if you stay focused, if you stay diligent, and you actually have an aim and you continually get better and better at hitting that target. One of the reasons that is true is because of what I call the law of improvement. And the law of improvement, at least in my definition, is simply this. If you never stop improving, transformation is inevitable. Now, you're probably watching this video or you clicked on it because of some type of connection that the video has to stuttering and blocking and wanting to get better at speaking, right? And we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to give you a couple other examples of this law of improvement in action. Okay, so one example of this, and we all know this is true. Just take, for example, a sport like basketball. Let's just say that you wanted to get really good at shooting threes in basketball. What would happen if every day for, let's say, 3 to 6 months, you spent an hour a day shooting hoops, shooting three-pointers all over the court, just bam, bam, bam. And you do that for an hour a day. Think about how good you would get at that skill. Or let's take another example. Let's say that perhaps you feel like your city has terrible pizza, which that's true in my city. So I live here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We've got a couple pretty good pizza places, but overall, I've been very disappointed with the quality of pizza here. And so in an alternate universe, I think one of the things I would actually enjoy doing is opening up the best pizza shop in this city. Now, I don't have enough interest or motivation to do that, but if I did in an alternate universe, then what would I try to do? Like if I were to give myself that advice or the advice of, okay, learn how to make the best pizza, let's get there. Well, what would happen if I spent 6 months or a year just perfecting the recipe, just getting every part of the system down? At the end of that, the pizza that I would make, that I would turn out, would probably be pretty damn good. And that's because of the time, the effort, the diligence, the attention to detail that was there. And so you get the point, right? We all understand that this is true. If you really work hard at something, if you never stop improving, you are going to see some sort of transformation. It's basically inevitable that you will see that. And so now let's bring this home and let's apply this to our speech, because that's the entire point. That's the gold that we're after here in this video. Does the law of improvement apply to overcoming a stutter, to rising above blocking and stammering and all of this? Well, the answer to that, I'm sure you know what the answer is going to be. Of course it's true. Of course you can transform your speech. And why is it possible that you can transform your speech? Why is that the case? It's the case because you know that you can make an improvement, right? You know that you can make 2 improvements, just small improvements, right? You know you have that in you. You have that ability. And this is very much connected to one of the other phrases I love to use, which is if you can make 1 small improvement, you can make 1,000. And that's a part of this law of improvement of if you never stop improving, transformation is inevitable. And that's what it is like with your speech. That is the cold, hard truth. But here is the problem. And here is why most people who start going down this path of trying to find more freedom and smoothness in their speech, one of the reasons they don't reach what their desired goal was is because it's because of a couple things. One, they didn't understand the process well enough. They didn't understand that sometimes things will get worse before they get better. There are these different types of natural patterns that tend to happen. And when things aren't a linear path, like many people expect it to be, then it can be very discouraging and disappointing, which then leads them to give up. And most people give up. They reach this point where they just feel like it's not doing anything, or no matter what type of plan they're in, whether it's mine or anybody else's, they just feel like, well, it's not working, so therefore they just leave it behind. But one of the common situations is that they were only doing it for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or they started doing it for a week and then it was kind of off and on for a couple months, and then they're like, well, it's not really working. Yeah, of course it's not going to work if that is your strategy. Yes, the brain is capable of incredible change. And I talk about that all the time. Neuroplasticity, it's such an incredible thing. But we also need to recognize how powerful habits are. And you are not going to break a habit as deeply embedded as your speech by being haphazard or kind of off and on or careless with it. You gotta put multiple months in of consistent effort, and you really need to pursue that goal that you are after and push through those roadblocks and those barriers and those frustrations and the anger that's gonna be there. It's all a part of the process. And yes, you'll have bad days, and that's also a part of the process. But at the end of the day, if you can simply be more patient than the majority of people who go down this path, that quality alone is going to put you ahead of, I would say, 90% of people who go down this path. So if you want to be in the top 10% at minimum, if you want to be in the top 10% of people who start on this journey of trying to improve their speech, then you need to be more patient than the 90%. So to bring this home, the law of improvement again simply is that if you never stop improving, transformation is inevitable. If you truly commit to this mindset, to this approach of, I am going to get better and I'm never going to stop. If that is the strategy that you internalize and then actually put into play, then transformation is basically inevitable. It's really true. You know this, I know this. If you keep putting one foot in front of the other, eventually you are going to go a great distance, okay? And it's no different with your speech habits, okay? So if you want to dive deeper into my method, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn even more, then my recommended place for you to start is my free Stop Stuttering workshop. I will leave a link in the description below. This is a free in-depth video training that will walk you through the entire process of what it is like, what the journey looks like, how to actually start this journey and start to build fluency. You'll get everything from important insights to an actual plan, a daily routine for you to follow. It's all there inside of my free Stop Stuttering workshop, okay? So I will leave a link to that in the description below. Be sure to check that out if you want to dive deeper into my method, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.